All right, good morning, everyone. It is 10:31 a.m. on Saturday, February 1st, 2025. I am Brian Leighton, the chair of the school committee. I am calling the school committee this special meeting of the school committee meeting to order. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being broadcast at a later date over the Lunenburg Public Access Channel. This meeting will be broadcast at a later date through the local access cable channel and on the public access Facebook page, and will be found on the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel within 24 hours after the meeting. The agenda lists all the topics which may be discussed at the meeting and are those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by open meeting law. So the only item on the agenda is old business. We have an action item, the Superintendent Screening Committee membership appointment. We had tabled this till Saturday to see if there was any additional applicants on the 30th or 31st, because one of the memos said the deadline was the 31st. We did not receive any additional applicants. Carol and I met at a posted meeting of the screening committee to recommend 10 people to join the superintendent screening committee along with myself and Carol. That was put in a folder. It was not put in today's meetings folder. I apologize for that. It is in the superintendent screening folder under the applicants, the superintendent search committee, screening committee applicants, and then under a screening committee recommendations folder. I also drafted up a brief summary of the diversity of the group that we are recommending. So I thought I could read that first, and then we could discuss, see if there's any discussion on the recommendations and if there's a motion. The recommended group, the Superintendent Screening Committee recommended group is composed of a diverse group of individuals with a wide range of experiences and perspectives. 7 members out of the 7 potential members of the 10 have worked in a school setting, including 2 with experience in special education and 3 with over 20 years in education. Several of them bring firsthand knowledge of education in Lunenburg and beyond, including 1 who is employed in a neighboring district, 1 who is a spouse of an employed in the district, 1 who has worked in the Lunenburg superintendent's office. The committee also would include a college professor with experience on 5 hiring committees, another who is a ABA specialist, 2 individuals with PTO leadership background, 2 members that have two potential members that have experience as principals, 3 previously served on a superintendent search committee, 2 of them on the last Lunenburg superintendent search committee. Additionally, 1 who had served as a school committee chair, and another has experience in safety planning across all schools. The committee would reflect a broad representation of the Lunenburg School Committee. 4 are current mothers of Lunenburg school-age children, 1 a father of Lunenburg school-age children, 1 a grandparent of a Lunenburg student. 3 members or 3 potential members would have children at Turkey Hill, 3 the middle school, 2 at the primary age children, and 1 their oldest child would be entering the primary in the fall. 1 has a high school student. 3 potential members would have children involved in Lunenburg public school sports. Another has experience using the after-school programming. The committee could also potentially could include individuals with leadership experience in the community, 1 a local business owner, 2 long-time residents of 30+ years, 1 senior citizen, 1 local youth sports leader, and 2 had played a role in the town's override campaign. 2 potential members have a background in technology, 1 a legislative experience, and 1 served on the select board. 1 who has served on the select board with experience hiring a town manager. The well-rounded group brings valuable expertise, community insight, and shared commitment to finding the best superintendent in Lunenburg. Carol, I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to add.
I think you did a good job, but I just want to point out that we went very carefully to everybody's letters, and we want to thank everybody for the very good response that we got. The people that are chosen represented many groupings, and that's why we chose them. And people that were not chosen, we thank you for your interest. And there was so many people, we couldn't take everyone.
Yeah, I think if you look at the list, thank you, Carol. I would agree with Carol. I think if you look at the list too, we didn't pick every staff member that applied. We didn't pick every people in certain groups. There was multiple people with school committee experience too, administrative experience. We tried to get a diverse group, and we tried to also, if you look at the list that we recommend, there's some new names in that list, and I think that was important too, to try to get some new blood in the idea of working in the community. So I'll open it up to other members for a discussion.
Could I suggest that, oh, first of all, is this meeting being recorded?
It is.
Okay. Could I suggest that you read the names before we discuss them? Because
Yes.
this document, to my knowledge, has not been published.
Yes. So the document that the screening committee has shared, it states the Lunenburg School Committee to the School Committee Subcommittee for Superintendent Screening Committee recommends for your consideration the following candidates to serve on the screening committee. Brad McNamara, Mary Foyle, Liz Peterson, Carla Squire, Caesar Nizzolo, TJ Laughlin, Jane Hall, Mandy Gilman, Kristen Ryan, and Sarah Wright. And we stated that we will provide a brief summary of characteristics and qualifications of the group at the next school committee this meeting. Additionally, if there's any candidates that applied on January 30th, 31st, the screening committee would meet in executive session on Saturday at 10 a.m. to discuss those candidates and decide if any changes were needed to the recommendations. Mr. Beardmore?
So this is the work product of a process and a subcommittee that we appointed and assigned and effectively agreed to this process. And I think that this reflects obviously a great deal of work and consideration on the part of Mr. Leighton and Mrs. Archambault. I solicited a number of folks who submitted letters of interest. I believe of the 10 that are proposed here, there were actually 20 applicants. So you're in a position where you had to select about half. I think only one of the 5 or so that I solicited was selected on this list, and so I have to tell you, I'm a little bit disappointed. But again, it's obviously the list is well considered given what you have just outlined in terms of the diversity of the list. I would just point out a couple of things. First of all, I'm not sure on a 12-member selection committee for a superintendent if we need to have a third as current employees and more than half as professional educators. I'm just asking that question. I don't know that is a necessity for a superintendent screening committee. The other area that I think is underrepresented is high school, the high school and high school parents, and our athletics program. And I understand that 3 of the members have children in some form of athletics, but to my knowledge, we don't have any coaches, booster club leaders, or anything of the sort. And that is an area that has been under a lot of discussion and consideration, was the subject of drastic proposed cuts a year ago. We have certainly over-rotated to folks with, in my opinion, academic backgrounds, but I'm not sure that we are reflecting the totality of the life of a student in Lunenburg and the totality of all of the students in Lunenburg. So I'm appreciative of everybody on this list and appreciative of everybody who applied, in addition, who was not selected on this list. We're also, I'm wondering if perhaps we may have left out some names of people who may have a different point of view on things than we do, particularly when it comes to social issues. I recognized a couple of names from that list who have been, vocal critics of some of the decisions that we have made, and I wonder if those kinds of voices are needed here. I don't think that and I don't know. I don't know. So I have reservations about this list. Speaking just very candidly, but I'm also very appreciative and respectful of the work product that went into the list. So I'm happy to hear your opinions relative to what I just shared with you, and I honestly don't know how I'm going to vote on this.
Mr. Scolambrini?
I think when I looked through the list and I looked at the letters and did some research, I was struck by how qualified virtually every single person was. This was an embarrassment of riches. And so you could pull, I think you could have made 10 different committees with 10 different groups of people out of that list of 21 people and still had a really top flight selection committee. So I don't think that this is bad at all. The one thing that I would echo what Peter said is, I do think that it's helpful to have a diversity of points of view. There are people that regularly attend school committee meetings that often disagree with us on various things. And I think that disagreement makes for a better process. So other than that, I think this was a really great choice, great set of choices. It made me realize how woefully unqualified I am to be on school committee.
Thank you. Ms. Brzezowski?
I would echo Peter's comments about, and Anthony's about the diversity of views. I think if we're going to have buy-in from the community about the superintendent choice, I think that it needs to be a little more representative of the community. Last time that we did the superintendent search, it feels a little parent heavy, and I'm not saying that parents shouldn't have a voice, but the school committee currently is made up of 5 members, 4 of us who have children in the schools. And right now, the committee itself of the people who are not, the select board, the police, the district, it's a lot of parents. Last time there were 2 community members at large. This time there's only 1 community member at large. So I was hoping to see at least 2 community members at large, and you guys only chose 1. The age representation of people tends to skew towards people who are parent aged. I was hoping to have at least another person who was older than parent age on there. I think the makeup of the committee, I'm a little disappointed that it seems to not have as diverse views. It seems to more echo your own views. And I would hope that it would more be encompassing of all of Lunenburg. So, but at the same time, when going through, there were 20 applicants for 10 spots, and every person who applied was a good candidate and had a very extensive background of volunteering and serving on boards, and was well qualified. So it was a very difficult decision, because I looked at it and I went, who would I put on there? And there was, like someone else said, there you could have come up with many different iterations and they all would have been great. So this was a difficult decision. But I don't think it's perfect. But thank you for the work on it.
Thank you. Just for the public's sake too, I just wanted to end the committee. I wanted to list who the appointees were at the last Lunenburg superintendent search. So the members were Liz Peterson, Heather Lemieux, Brian Spadafino, Amy Raboyne, Mary Foyle, Steve Randall. Sorry to highlight their positions too, so people are aware, because some of these names might be new to some people. Liz Peterson, central office. Heather Lemieux, town manager. Brian Spedafino, high school principal. Amy Raboyne, middle school teacher. Mary Foyle, high school teacher. Steve Randall, parent. Rhonda Jardine Yates, parent. Scott Arciprate, citizen at large. Robert Ebersol, citizen at large. Meredith Weiss, school committee. Heather Soroka, school committee.
And I would add to that, that out of the names you read, at least 2 of those additionally had educational backgrounds.
Yeah, I think looking at it, comparing it similar to last time, you see Liz Peterson again, central office. I connect almost the town manager to the select board. So that's kind of almost a pretty close swap. We don't have we have a very new town manager this time, and we had an interim town manager currently. You see the high school principal. We see a elementary school principal this time. We saw 2 teachers last time. We actually have 1 teacher this time. There's more parents, but I think you see. Oh, and we actually, do we not have? I was thinking there was the last time there was the police, but maybe there wasn't. But we do have Brad McNamara on this time, representing the police as well and the safety team.
We are obviously open to any suggestions anyone would have, knowing this a little bit awkward situation. We are open to that. We did, like I say, look at everything we could think of. But understandably, we did not agree on everything either. And we made compromises, so we are open to compromises.
I would agree.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I'm somewhat disappointed by this, but I'm also confident in the output of the work product, right? Like, and I think that you 2 know where I'm coming from relative to what we need, and I'm hopeful that you will look for some of the qualities that I have already articulated and will articulate to the members of this committee. I don't see a clear path to changing this. If I did, I would be suggesting changes. But I don't think we want a bigger committee than 12 people, because it's already at a virtually unmanageable scale. So I would be willing to vote for this, but with my stated reservations.
What
Yeah, the
happens
discussion.
if someone doesn't show up to meetings or doesn't show up to like several meetings in a row? Do we have mechanisms for that?
I think as a committee, we have those mechanisms. But like I said, I was thinking more of if somebody was absent, we can obviously continue. But if there's a concern about a member not being active, we can take action on that as a committee.
And
And we will
obviously,
continue to have updates at our school committee meetings so we can take action as needed.
Okay.
And we'll give updates as well.
and obviously life happens. If somebody has an emergency and has to pull out, we would replace them.
Yeah, because yeah, at this point, I'm not comfortable looking at this list and saying I'd like to replace someone on this list. And adding any more than 12 would be unwieldy. 12 is already a very large number for a subcommittee.
Yeah, I mean, the more I look at this, I mean, I stated my reservation around a third of the committee being employees. But when you think about it, safety is obviously a top priority. And I think Brad represents.
Brad's not our employee though.
Well, Brad's in
think
the
he
schools. I consider Brad an employee. I
He
understand.
works in the schools.
But we don't pay him. I don't know. I wouldn't. He's not ours though. So I mean, he's ours, but he's not our
He's a member
employee.
of the staff. He really is.
Yeah.
Mary represents the teachers, and I think that that's important to represent.
Yes.
Liz represents the central office staff, and really
Liz is non-negotiable.
part of everything that's going on.
Liz is a non-negotiable.
And Carla is a principal, and I do think that you need that administrative point of view. So, I mean, it's, as I think about it, I think that these are important perspectives to have. In my mind, what's glaringly missing here is athletics. And I'm appreciative that there are parents of athletes, but I think we need something more. But on the other hand, I'm not quite sure how to get there.
Yeah,
Ooh.
so we didn't have any athlete coaches obviously apply. I do apologize. I wish we would have asked even Kevin to apply too, because that would have been a great addition. But I think we see it in a lot of the parents who have athletes. We see it with the employees too. I think they're gonna, even Miss Foyle, Mary Foyle, she has students who are athletes, children that are athletes as well.
Still note that even though there are no athletes on the committee, the screening committee's recommendation has to pass to us.
Oh, yeah.
And we all have, I mean, Brian has, I don't know if they're work for the school, but you're aware of athletic issues related to the school.
I'm a high school coach.
Yeah,
I coach
and
3
I
different
know I have a
sports.
kid that's in a sport every season. Peter does too. I'm not worried about the lack of academics. My bigger concern was people who have shown a willingness to participate and have, a truly diverse perspective on, like social emotional learning. Like I think that I disagree with the approach that was recommended when we had that debate. And I think that there's good reasons to disagree. But I also think that, it's important to have, like, this is why I think the idea of getting rid of diversity and inclusion measures is wrong, because diversity is measured in a bunch of different ways, and having people with different political and philosophical perspectives is really helpful. So that is my only reservation here. I think this committee will be fine. I don't think we need to change it or add anybody or subtract anybody. And I frankly don't really think that the athletics thing is an issue, because it's going to have to pass through us. But I am always concerned when we have a hegemony of ideas. And so that's it. But I would vote for this right now.
I move to approve the list as presented.
Is there a second?
Is it, so we don't have, was executive session on? Can I ask a question?
Yes, yeah, we don't have a second at this point, so. Still
Could
in
we
discussion.
send you guys back to subcommittee
You could make a motion to do that.
today? And then,
We wouldn't be able to do it
Can't
today. We'd have
post
to
it.
post the meeting.
okay,
And we do have a posted meeting for Monday to
so,
start the work.
so if we did replace the name, it would have to be right now.
Yes, and we would have to, yeah, otherwise we would have to postpone the start of the work.
Which we could do, but
Yep.
that would put the process back.
While switching the constituency of the group, if it means we're postponing the work, we need to get started.
Yeah, I don't want to. I just want to get started. Yeah, I'm not sure that's worth it. I just. Yeah, I think it's more important to get started. I just really want to make sure people's views are represented. But I guess, I mean, it comes to us ultimately, and we're going to make sure that people's views are also represented. This is just, so I want to make clear to the public that the screening committee just screens the candidates. We, the school committee, ultimately will make the decision. They're the ones who pass on candidates to the school committee for the school committee to ultimately interview and decide on.
Yes, and we do welcome the feedback and we want the public to let us know what they're looking for, and that's why we are organizing listening sessions so that the public can give us feedback and characteristics that they're looking for in a superintendent.
And we hope that the 10 people who are not on this list stay involved and continue to give their input.
Yes, I will be reaching out to all of the applicants.
And it was really nice that people volunteered and got involved. That was fantastic too. That was really nice. Okay. Well, you want to make your motion again then?
It's already made. We're just
No,
looking for a
Lord.
second.
Okay,
Yeah.
second.
All right. Any discussion? All right. So we have a motion to accept the applicants as presented. We're going to do a roll call vote.
Mr. Schoenbrini,
Yes.
Mrs. Brzezowski,
Yes.
Mr. Beardmore,
Yes.
Mrs. Ashenbo,
Yes,
and Mr. Leighton.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. The motion passes. Next item on the agenda is to adjourn at 10:57 a.m. Mr.
Motion to
Schoenbrini,
adjourn?
Mr. Brzezowski, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, we're ready for a roll call vote.
Mr. Schoenbrini,
Yes.
Mrs. Brzezowski,
Yes.
Mr. Beardmore,
Yes.
Mrs. Ashenbo,
yes,
and Mr. Leighton.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your weekend.
thank you.